Well, joining us this morning, Pastor David Dykes. He is the pastor at Green Acres Baptist Church, and he is also quite the accomplished author as well.
He sure is. He's here this morning to tell us about his new book, which is The Jerusalem Protocol. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning, Jillian. Good morning, Clint.
Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
This is the sequel to the cloud strike prophecy. Is that right?
Right. 3 years ago, I wrote a book called The Cloud Strike Prophecy, and the Jerusalem Protocol is a sequel to that.
So what makes you uniquely qualified, I guess we could say, to write a book set in Jerusalem?
Well, first of all, I've devoted my whole life to studying the Bible, also studying history. In addition to that, I have a great love for Israel. I went there first in 1974 to study archaeology, and have been back about 30 times. And so I have a great love for Israel and Jerusalem. And so this story is a weaving together of all my background of interest in history, the Bible, and Jerusalem.
And you went on one of those trips.
We went together on the trip to we were trying to figure back, I think it was back in the late 90s somewhere back there, David. So without giving the story away, kind of lead us through maybe the Cloud Strike Prophecy into Jerusalem Protocol. Kind of what is this? I mean, is it a mystery? Is it an adventure story? Tell us a little.
Well, it's considered an international thriller because it involves terrorism. It talks about the real threat that ISIS holds today to our nation, not only in the fact that there are embedded ISIS soldiers here in the United States. You know, the Obama administration tries to soft pedal the lone wolf, the self-radicalized. Well, they're all coalescing over radical Islam, whatever you call them. And the threat is real here, but it's also a threat around the world, as we've seen in Berlin, we've seen in Istanbul over the holidays. So this book is all about the threat of ISIS, and the characters in here are fighting against ISIS. It's also pertinent to the news because of what's happening in Jerusalem right now. President-elect Trump has announced that he intends to move the capital of Israel to Jerusalem, which would be a huge step. And on the other side, you have this United Nations resolution just a few days ago condemning Israel. And so a lot of the plot of the story is actually happening in the news today.
Which, I mean, it's fiction, but obviously very relevant today. Tell us about your interest in writing fiction.
It's almost like a hobby to me. I enjoy writing nonfiction as well, and I use my full name, Pastor David O. Dykes, for fiction. But for the novels, the fiction, I use David Orlow, which is my first and middle name. So it's almost like a hobby to me. I enjoy doing it.
And they're all, but while they are fiction, David, they are still kind of based in very nonfiction kind of ideas as far as biblical ideology of what's happening in the world.
Right, there's some actual true history in here that people don't know about. The history of the Temple Mount. Why is the Dome of the Rock there today? For instance, why do Muslims pray 5 times a day? Most people don't know that. But in this book, I give the biblical and historical background for things like that.
Okay, well, let's talk about where we can get it.
Well, on Amazon or any online vendor, it's available as an ebook or as a print version.
And of course, at the Green Acres
Bookstore
as well. All right, Pastor, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.